In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use replan to minimize the distance each population must travel to get to their assigned pod location. So I've started out here in replan. I have 5 different pod locations across Dallas County. Of course, Dallas County is likely to need more pod locations than this, which, by the way, we have no idea what Dallas County's actual plans look like. These are all just created for the sake of demonstration. So I've got 5 pod locations, and I want to determine catchment areas for each one of these pod locations. Well, there are 2 different methods I can use. The first one is to do a closest pod partitioning. Now, doing that, basically what I'm doing is I'm taking every census block group and assigning it to the closest pod to it. And that's where I end up with these jagged boundaries, because these are drawn along block group boundaries. So you can actually see this, if you're familiar with Voronoi tessellations, this resembles a Voronoi tessellation. If not, don't worry about it. So we can go into the pod manager now and take a look at the household and population distribution that result from this partitioning. Now, many of you may be thinking, well, this looks great, but it's not always the distance between a household that lives here and a pod over here might not be as simple as going in a straight line. You have to travel across roads. What if there was a river here? What if there was some kind of a natural boundary, like a mountain range? Well, we can consider that as well. To do that, we go into a driving distance partitioning instead. So here in the driving distance partitioning, we can calculate driving cost using either travel time that we want to minimize or travel distance. Let's go ahead and do travel time, because we have the speed limits of all the roads across the region. And we can try to prioritize highways or avoid highways based on the current situation that you're trying to plan for. So let's not bias it in this example. I'll go ahead and say partition. And this takes a moment because it's actually routing the population of each census block group across the road network to each one of these pods and then assigning it to the closest one. So what we see here is we end up having a handful of islands. These islands are actually resulting from the organization of the road network. So you can see this island here, it's likely created by it being adjacent to this highway, which connects to this highway, which can get you directly to this pod. So it's not as pretty and it's not as intuitive as the closest pod partitioning, but at the same time, it can be much more accurate and much more useful. So this video is just a demonstration of how to minimize the population, the distance the population must travel to reach their assigned pods. Please take a look at our YouTube channel where you can find more demonstrations of replan.